You know why you're good? Because you woke up
Eggnog
and you
latte.
have a full eggnog latte. No half and half like Starbucks does. There's always that disconnect at Starbucks when you say, "Can I get no buff in my eggnog?"
Don't buff my eggnog.
And they're like,
what?
"You don't want eggnog?
Straight up eggnog.
You
Like, don't put any water
you don't
in your
want cut.
Americano?
You don't want cut in that. You want straight. You want the 100%."
What kills me is how many times they've asked me, so you don't want any water in your Americano?
That's it.
No,
I know.
I don't want
There's always
non-fat
this
in my eggnog.
weird dialogue about,
this?
just give me straight up eggnog.
Don't buff my eggnog.
Don't buff my
I think I'm getting ripped off. But I know it's because it doesn't steam properly.
I just steamed you 100% eggnog,
For some
and I
reason,
just said
You
there are eggs in here. So I'm wondering
You're
if I'm
cooking it.
scrambling
But
them
it
right
doesn't-
now.
It doesn't go like chunky.
Can
or
I have a
anything.
sip?
Yeah.
There's different personalities. There's a personality that doesn't ask for a sip and just wonders about it. There's the personality that says, "May I have a sip, please?" and then waits for you to hand them.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the one that grabs and asks.
No. Grabs the cup and
And
halfway
asks.
to his mouth says, "Oh, can I have a sip?"
The last personality just
Because
grabs
he
it.
knows that he's supposed to ask. Thanks. I like it.
That is nice, actually.
I like it.
What?
Good
Like, when I
morning.
woke up this morning,
It's
I was
early.
like, "What is the worst? What's the hardest part of getting older?" For you, what's the oldest part of getting older? And then I thought of another thought. I'll dare to ask on camera.
Ooh.
What's the hardest part about getting older for you? Not that you are getting older, but
yes, I am.
you just had your hair done. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
You got to see your friend. You got a trim. You
Mhm.
love the gray. That's not a hard part of getting old.
Do you really want me to talk about this on camera?
Maybe. What's the hardest part about getting old?
I think that
Is it a woman-related thing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
that's the hardest part.
What is that? Like emotions?
They don't just come from nowhere. My body's changing.
Is it a
Different.
woman thing, like a
I am
meadowy
what
pre?
you would call perimenopausal. Remember,
okay.
I read you all of those symptoms, and you were like, "Ooh, that's you."
There's some questions I don't
Remember that one time
foresee
we
where
went to the
it would
doctor
go.
together, and she tore a strip off you because you're insensitive about my
I was making
anatomy
I was making an inquirement of, is there something we can add or do? And she basically said, "Patience, idiot."
basically.
I'm like, well, there's only so much patience in this
And
world, so I was just
came back at
wondering
her a few times, and I felt like she was going to take her. Our doctor has she's a
beautiful woman, and
she
was like, she's a prop in rugby or an 8-man in rugby,
yeah, she's like
but a
legit
real rugby
player, and she
like
has really big hands that we joke about.
She's big. I
Some
feel like
people
I have to
have exams, and I thought for a second you were going to get one of those big cuffs up the back of the head.
I can't believe you just said that. Big hands. And okay, so that's your heart. My hardest part, I know it sounds trite.
You brought it up.
Is that I don't know as much as I thought I'd know at this point.
Oh my gosh, is that ever true? But
I wake up every day like going, I just don't know.
That's
like,
the best part about getting older, though, is that you know that you don't know everything.
Before, I thought I knew everything, and then the older I get, the less I know.
Can I just tell you something?
My parents are probably going like this right now. The other thought I had.
As you get older, you realize also that you don't need to tell everyone everything that you think you know.
Good segue. So my okay, kind of. So my other thought, and I dare to ask this. I have anxiety right now. I have.
Go ahead.
What's that? Like the bubbles, the bubbly.
Go ahead. I have an eggnog latte. My hands look really big when I do this on camera.
Yeah, because you're going closer to the camera.
Anyway,
let's just
ask away. I have an eggnog latte.
Camera effects.
I'm gonna be
okay. So this is for other people though too. I'm asking out of the safety of community and being together right now.
Okay.
So what is the best way to correct your partner? And then the answer might be to not to. But like, how do you correct something? Okay, just a simple thing, because it's easy. Like, just because I can I know this one. Pause. No, just wait.
Okay.
Keys. Hanging up keys. there's one half of the people in the family that I'm just saying, how do you remind somebody in an effective, loving, so that the other person can respond properly? I'm just using keys. There's 100 other examples. It's just hanging up keys is one of the little tiny things.
I hear you all the way.
So then do you correct or do you input? So what's the best way to do that without being critical, without being condemning?
Are we talking about raising
super general?
Are we talking about raising children, or are we talking about the other adult in the home that you live with?
Yeah, I'm talking definitely about the other adult.
And how would one describe to the other adult one's preferences? Or are you talking about like correcting the other adult in the home to make sure that they know that they are doing
what if the
things in a way that
I guess I'm hearing two.
I listened to you out.
Okay.
So an adult, two adults that live together in a home, there isn't necessarily always just one certain way that things should be done. Typically, there's two adults that have preferences for the way that they would like things done. That's, in my opinion, what needs to be discussed amongst two adults that live in a home.
So I'm not talking just preferences. I'm talking about like just I'm making generalizations.
So give me an example of something that's not a preference.
Let's say just a driving technique that could actually cause harm.
Sure.
Or let's say a laundry technique that would hesitate to have the laundry in the tub for 4 days, and then other people need it. So little things like that. And I'm not talking.
So yeah, sure. There's things like if you shove all those clothes into the washing machine, we will be buying a new washing machine in less time than we would like to. So don't overfill the washing machine, because it says right here on the lid, don't overfill the washing machine.
Do they tell you how much to put in?
Actually,
do they tell you how many clothing items?
It says don't fill over the line.
No, but do they say this is the amount of clothing items or weight of?
Then there's like hey, you really suck at doing laundry, and you know that like other people want to use the washing machine, so it's really unfair that you leave your stuff there.
Or like if the other person leaves their stuff all over the house.
Those are very different conversations.
And I'm not saying you do, but let's say somebody listening right now, their partner leaves stuff all over the house, their bag out, their keys, all their stuff.
Does
the other person have permission to like just clean it up or ask, or you just leave it?
I think that's a really interesting discussion. I gave an opinion.
What was your opinion? I've been too anxious to listen. Just tell me what your opinion is.
I said that there's things that are like more like safety oriented, or like this is going to break if we don't do this way, or this is the law and so it should be followed. And then there's like, we're two adults and we have a preference for how we do things, or so you really suck at doing this and it's driving me bananas. Those are two different conversations. But I think it's always important to remember that we're talking to another adult.
So, but then you're saying, this is what I'm hearing, that we do have permission to have those conversations.
Yeah, but it's a conversation like you used to do at the treatment program. So at the treatment program, every Friday...
You don't want that conversation.
No, but on Friday...
You're not doing this properly, so you have to go to the Ottawa mission.
No, you're not. You're not. This is a frustrating conversation because I feel like you aren't actually listening to what I say. So on Fridays, the guys sat together in a house meeting and basically like were able to air their grievances, but they couldn't like demand change from someone. So it was like an environment of like, okay, like someone's not replacing the toilet paper and like that's not okay. Or so-and-so, like you leave I noticed you leave your coffee cup in this spot every week, every day. And like, I've been, picking it up for you, but I'm not going to do that anymore. Those are like important conversations to have as an adult. But I think that if we make an ask of the other adult in the house, there is values typically behind what we're asking, right? So you have a value for a tidy house. And once you explained it to me, that actually, once I understood that actually the way that you function, you lived with chaos in your head for so long, and that when you walked into sobriety, you needed to not have chaos in your living environment because it made it challenging for your head, you said, we had that conversation. And then I made an honest effort to actually pick up after myself and to tidy up after myself. Certain things get out of control.
So I am listening, and I'm repeating everything back to you.
I could see that you're listening.
So we do have permission to talk about it. Yeah. We should talk about it in an assertive manner where you count, I count, not come from it as a teasing point of view or a critical point of view. And then I think on the other end is not be offended. I can't be offended for things that you would like to be changed or take things personally, like we just talked about yesterday.
My friend has a really excellent tool that they use in their family. She said not so much now because their kids are
the adults, coffee grinder,
where she would say that they would come, and so one day her husband came home from wherever, work probably, and the lawnmower is in the middle of the lawn. And he's like so frustrated with his kid, like, why would you leave the lawnmower in the middle of the lawn? But they had used this tool in the family, and it gave like different beginnings of sentences that you can use in different scenarios. And it was a thing that they used to practice. So he remembered I am puzzled. And so he went to his son who was inside and said, I'm puzzled why you left the lawnmower in the middle of the lawn. And his son said, oh, Dad, I got stung by a wasp. And he was like, oh, I'm so glad I didn't run in the house and tear a strip off my kid for leaving the lawnmower in the middle of the lawn. He's like got this big welt that he's still got an ice pack on, and he looks like he's just sitting watching TV, but really he's got
so then another case scenario, what if that lawnmower was there on a weekly basis?
Then it's a different
there would be another puzzling,
and it's a different conversation. And it's for sure, I'm puzzled why you
continue
to leave the lawnmower in the middle of the lawn.
Now move to the Ottawa mission.
But the part what I said about there's a value behind why we need things done, and I think that especially as kids get older and when we live with another adult, you can't just demand that somebody do something a certain way. Having that conversation of like, we only have one car key. It's really important that we put it in this spot.
It's true.
It's really important.
You're talking about us.
I am listening. I leave the car key in my pocket all the time. It's really important that you put the car key away when you get home, because if we can't find it, we're
you
toast.
Could go back on me and just say we need another car key. Which we do. I just need to get.
100% could.
And it's a big investment. Not big, but it's $150 investment to go down to the dealership and get a key. Yeah. Anyway,
12 minutes in.
I don't mean anyway.
We should read this.
I said anyway again. I'm doing really well with not doing that. I
think it's an important.
We have LifeLab, and LifeLab is a 19-week introduction on having a new life, of leaving the old, leaving the past, and coming into a new life. I can't wait till we have a marriage video to offer. My gosh. Oh man, it's gonna be great. Good morning, guys. All right.
Hi, Connie.
Are we on the 19th? 2 in a row I get to read. Accepting our feelings. Why do we struggle so with our feelings? Why do we work so hard to deny our emotions, especially concerning other people? They're only feelings. In the course of a day, we may deny or feel frustrated in reaction to someone who is selling us a service. We may deny that we feel frustrated, angry, or hurt in reaction to a friend. We may deny feelings of fear or anger towards our children. We may deny a whole range of feelings toward our spouse or the person with whom we're in a love relationship. We may deny feelings provoked by people we work for or by people who work for us. Sometimes the feelings are a direct reaction to others. Sometimes people trigger something deeper, an old sadness or frustration. Regardless of the source of our feelings, they are still our feelings. We own them. And acceptance is often all that is necessary to make them go away. That's a nice key. We don't have to let our feelings control our behavior. We don't have to act on each feeling that passes through us. We don't need to indulge in inappropriate behavior. It does help to talk about our feelings with someone we trust. Sometimes we need to bring our feelings to the person who is triggering them. That can breed intimacy and closeness. But the most important person we need to tell is ourselves. If we allow our feelings to pass through us, accept them and release them, we shall know what to do next. Wow. Prayer for today. Today, I will remember that feelings are an important part of my life. I will be open to my feelings in my family, in friendships, in love, and at work. I will feel my feelings without judging myself. That just sums everything up. That was really good.
That's very good.
And acceptance is often all that is necessary to make them go away. Actually, having the time and space of not reacting, but understanding what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling it, and letting that go away. And so then I'm not always reacting. I'm not always going to be offended. I'm not always going to take things personally.
You know what I've had a very hard time with in life?
Empty coffees.
Why don't I get to... Oh, we're at 15 minutes. That's why. The part I've really struggled with, that I'm trying to work on, is sometimes we need to bring our feelings to the person who's triggering them. That can breed intimacy and closeness. I believe that, but that is a very difficult thing. It's easier to stuff.
That is true.
And pretend. Try to pretend.
Or defend. Or attack.
What's the truth, though?
What's the truth?
You can't pretend.
You can't really pretend. Yeah,
and certain
people can. I don't think anybody can pretend. Really,
not really.
No. Especially in love relationships.
I like how they describe people can't figure out what's going on, but they can definitely tell that something's going on, and intimacy and closeness does.
You can always tell what's going on if you're paying attention, and that's why that's what makes a good poker player. They can read all the signs because even professional poker players are telling. I think that was really good.
Can I have one more eggnog latte?
Thank you for tuning in. We are on a Thursday day. It's a Thursday day, November.
Thursday.
We're going to the second half of November. Hockey sticks in hands. Hockey sticks in hands. Keep your distance and wash your hands. All right. I've never washed my hands as much. My hands are actually doing well.